Hi everyone, it's me, number 10, Severomorsk Island. Located off the coast of northwest Russia near Finland, is an island that's been called a forbidden zone, a doomsday island, and even the gates to hell. And it's all because of what lies beneath the waters surrounding it. In 1973, the Russians sank a nuclear submarine that contained deadly viruses and bacteria into the depths of the nearby sea. They did this so that Western countries couldn't get their hands on these bioweapons. But it was a pretty dumb idea for a whole host of reasons. For one thing, submarines aren't designed to sit at the bottom of the sea forever. What happens if or when the vessel begins to rust? Also, who's to say the fish and other marine life did not take some of the microbes with them and scatter them across the ocean? No one really knows what lurks in the waters around Severomorsk Island today. All we know is that whoever ventures there might not make it out alive. Number 9. Flesh-Eating Bacteria Island. As if flesh-eating bacteria weren't already gross enough, just imagine finding out there's an entire island filled with them. Located in the Caribbean Sea between Colombia and Panama is a small, uninhabited island that's home to a strange phenomenon. Back in 2018, scientists found that the beaches of the island were covered in bacteria that can eat away at human skin. The good news is that the bacteria is very picky about who it targets. If you're young, healthy, and tan, you'll be fine. If you're older, have health problems, or have a low melanin count, then watch out. This is because the Vibrio bacteria only goes after those with weakened immune systems. Researchers believe that the bacteria entered the island's waters from sewage runoff from nearby cities. While most of the bacteria is harmless, some strains can be deadly. So, while we don't recommend that anyone visit this cursed island, it's probably best if you stay away from the water no matter what your skin tone is. Number 8. Island of the Dolls. Mexico is known for having some pretty scary islands, like the one where thousands of people disappeared. Then there's another island that's supposedly cursed. Known locally as Isla de las Muñecas, which means Island of the Dolls, this tiny island in the canals of Xochimilco has earned its name. That's because it's littered with dolls that have been hanging from trees since the 1950s. Legend has it that the island is haunted by the ghost of a little girl who drowned in the canals. Her spirit, along with the spirits of others who have died in the waterways, is said to possess the dolls, which is why they're hung in the trees as offerings to appease them. Of course, some believe the dolls are merely decorations put up by a local artist who lives on the island, while others think they're a warning to those who go near the canals. Either way, Isla de las Muñecas is one of the scariest places in Mexico. Number 7. Albatross Island. Ever heard of Albatross Island? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's because it doesn't exist. Well, it does, but it wasn't always like that. In 1886, New Zealand began trapping seals and sea lions on Bounty and Antipodes Islands in order to sell their skins. However, when these populations began to dwindle, they moved to Albatross Island, which had a massive population of albatrosses. It seemed like a great idea until they killed almost every single bird on the island. The few that survived flew away, which meant there was no one left for them to trap. So they set their sights on the native snakes. They trapped, clubbed, poisoned, and shot any snake they could find, killing nearly every single one. By 1930, there were 0 reptiles left on Albatross Island. Today, researchers are trying to repopulate the island with reptiles, but it's going very slowly. So, if you want to see any snakes there, you might have to wait a few more decades. And now for number 6, but first I want to give a big shout out to some supporters. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you are new here, be sure to join the family. Number 6, Snake Island. We just talked about how there are no snakes left on Albatross Island, but it's a completely different story over on Snake Island. Located in Brazil, this island gets its name from the massive amount of snakes that call it home. There are so many snakes on this island, in fact, that it's considered a paradise for reptile lovers. And although the Brazilian Navy tried to remove some of them in the late 1920s, They quickly gave up the effort once they realized how many there were. These days, the island is strictly off limits to humans due to how dangerous it would be to visit. That's because there are golden lancehead vipers on the island, which are extremely venomous. One bite from one of these snakes can kill you in less than an hour. Even worse, the snakes can sense danger through vibrations and are apparently able to move at incredible speeds. So, if you ever step foot on this island, there's no telling how fast they could strike. Number 5. Surtsey Island. In 1965, a volcano erupted off the coast of Iceland and created a brand new island. The island, which was named Surtsey, was named after a fire giant from Norse mythology, and it was hoped that the island would attract rare birds and other wildlife. And it worked. Over the years, the island became home to several species of rare birds, seals, starfish, crustaceans, moss, lichen, and even microbes. But then something terrible happened. Humans showed up. At first, the Icelandic government kept the island closed off to prevent any contamination. But as the years passed, they began allowing small groups of researchers to visit. But even they had to follow strict guidelines. To this day, nothing natural can be brought onto the island, and everything that was brought off it had to be carefully cleaned before leaving. Despite this, Surtsey continues to attract scientists from around the world. That is because the island is essentially a time machine that allows them to study how life comes back to barren land. 4. Taiwan's Mushroom Island. Just off the coast of Taiwan is an island that looks like something out of a fairy tale. Known locally as Chinyan Island, this island looks like it came straight from a Dr. Seuss book. Its orange cliffs and caves seem to glow from within, giving the area a mystical vibe. Legend has it that the island was formed from the spilled milk of a white-haired old woman who fell off her boat and floated to shore. While we're not sure if that's true, we do know that the island's orange hue is caused by iron sulfide, which is created from underwater volcanoes. This makes the island especially popular with divers who flock to the waters around it to see the unique marine life that's attracted to the iron sulfide. 3. Island of the Dolls. Known locally as Poveglia, this Italian island is yet another island that's apparently cursed. It all started back in the 1700s, when the island was used as a quarantine zone for ships coming into Venice. Unfortunately, many of the ships that docked here carried plague victims, and the disease spread like wildfire. When the plague eventually left the island, cholera and typhoid fever moved in. That's when the Italian government decided to use the island as a mental hospital. Needless to say, this proved to be a terrible idea. Patients escaped from the asylum and either drowned in the lagoon or were attacked by venomous snakes. Eventually, the island was abandoned, but it's still said to be haunted by the spirits of those who suffered and died there. Some even claim to have seen the ghosts of patients wandering around the island. Number 2. Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is probably the most infamous cursed place on the planet. Located in the North Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle is notorious for causing ships and planes to disappear without a trace. It's believed that the area is cursed, though some argue that there's a perfectly logical explanation for what happens in the triangle. For example, many of the ships that have disappeared were likely carrying valuable cargo and were targeted by pirates. Others have suggested that magnetic disturbances in the area may cause compasses to malfunction, leading ships off course and into the ocean. There's also the theory that the ocean floor suddenly rises in certain areas, causing ships to run aground and sink. Whatever the reason, hundreds, if not thousands of people have lost their lives in the Bermuda Triangle. Number 1. The Devil's Sea. There isn't much known about this supposed cursed area of water off the coast of Japan. According to legend, this area, also known as the Dragon's Triangle, is where UFOs enter the Earth's atmosphere. Some believe that this is where the lost city of Atlantis is located, and others believe that the waters hold a portal to another dimension. One of the strangest things about the Devil's Sea is that ships and planes disappear in it, just like in the Bermuda Triangle, but no one seems to know why. Some say that the area is a portal to hell itself, while others claim that it's simply a result of magnetic disturbances. Whatever the case may be, it's best to avoid this area if you value your life. Thanks for watching. Do you know of any other cursed places that should have made the list? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to come back soon. Bye.